Once upon a time, in the kingdom of Zephyria, there was a prince named Arin who was known far and wide for his words that could melt the hardest of hearts and calm the fiercest of storms. The people called him the Silver-Tongued Prince because his words shimmered with kindness, wit, and hope. But Prince Arin had a secret. He could speak beautifully to everyone, but he could not speak truly to himself. From his window, he often gazed at the mountains, wondering about the world beyond the kingdom walls. His father, King Aldor, was a strict but wise ruler who loved peace, but he believed that words were not enough to protect a kingdom. "Strength, Arin," he often said, "not words, will guard your people." One summer evening, while the sun dripped golden light onto the palace gardens, a strange mist rolled into Zephyria. The people fell asleep wherever they were, the farmers in the fields, the bakers in their shops, the guards at the gates. Only Prince Arin remained awake, standing at the balcony, watching the mist curl around the towers like silent snakes. From the mist emerged a figure draped in a cloak of midnight blue, with stars shimmering on the fabric. Her eyes glowed like two lanterns in the fog. "I am Lysandra, keeper of dreams," she said softly. "Your kingdom is trapped in an enchanted slumber by the sorceress of the Hollow Veil. Only one with the courage to speak the truth, no matter the cost, can break this curse." Arin's heart pounded, "But I don't know how." She placed a hand on his shoulder. "Find the mirror of voices in the Hollow Veil. Speak your truth there, and the spell will break." The mist lifted, leaving the prince alone with the silence of the sleeping kingdom. Arin saddled his white horse, Solus, and rode out of the silent gates under the pale light of the moon. The roads were empty, the air heavy with the scent of fallen blossoms and the hush of unspoken fears. After 2 days, Arin reached the edges of the Hollow Veil, where the trees grew so tall they swallowed the sky, and the winds whispered secrets in forgotten tongues. Strange lights flickered in the darkness, and Arin felt fear gnawing at the edges of his heart. Inside the veil stood the Mirror of Voices, tall and cracked, framed with vines that glowed faintly in the darkness. Its surface shimmered like a restless pool of water, reflecting not only the face of the one who stood before it, but the truth hidden in their soul. As Arin approached, the mirror spoke in a voice that was both thunder and whisper. "Speak, Prince, your truest truth, that which you have never dared to say, and let it set your people free." Arin's heart pounded. He looked into the mirror, seeing himself, his father's expectations, the kingdom, the silent streets. He saw the fear in his own eyes. He had always been praised for his words, for comforting others, for charming visiting kings, for inspiring soldiers. But within himself, he hid a truth that was like a stone in his chest. "I am afraid," he whispered, the words heavy on his tongue. The mirror rippled, urging him to continue. "I am afraid that I am not enough, that my words are hollow, that when the time comes, I will fail the people who believe in me. I fear that I am nothing without the praise of others." As he spoke, tears slid down his cheeks, falling onto the moss below. The mirror glowed, the vines shivering with light. "I want to be more than words. I want to protect my people, not just with speeches, but with actions. I want to learn, to grow, to become someone worthy of leading this kingdom into a future of hope and peace." The mirror cracked, and a wind rushed from it, swirling around the prince. He closed his eyes as the wind roared, and when he opened them, The mirror had shattered into stardust, rising into the sky like fireflies. The kingdom awoke. Far away in Zephyria, people stirred, blinking in confusion as they found themselves in their beds, in the fields, or at the gates, waking from the strange sleep. Bells rang, laughter returned, and colors brightened in the streets. Prince Arin rode back, his heart lighter, his spirit stronger. He arrived to find his father waiting at the gates, his eyes filled with tears. "I felt it, Arin," King Alder said. King Alder said, placing a hand on his son's shoulder. "The day you spoke your truth, I felt it in my heart." Arin embraced his father. "Father, I want to learn how to lead, not just with words, but with actions. Will you teach me?" King Alder smiled, a rare softness in his stern face. "It would be my honor." Days turned into weeks, and Prince Arin began to learn the work of the kingdom truly, visiting the sick, working alongside farmers, listening to the people's fears, and helping to solve their problems. He trained with the guards, learning the weight of a sword, but he also learned the power of quiet action and wise decisions. And yet, he never lost his silver tongue. His words remained beautiful, but now they were true, grounded in the courage of his own heart. One day, the sorceress of the Hollow Veil herself appeared at the palace gates, seeking an audience with the prince. She was not as fearsome as the stories told, but tired, her eyes like gray rain. "Why did you break my curse?" she asked softly. "I wanted your people to rest, to be free from their struggles." Arin looked at her kindly. "You cannot protect people by taking away their struggles. They need to learn, to fight, to grow. Rest is important, but so is the courage to live." The sorceress wept, and Arin offered her a place in the kingdom to rest and heal, promising that she could help Zephyria with her knowledge of the forests and the hidden places of the world. Years later, when King Alder grew old and weary, Prince Arin was crowned king. The kingdom of Zephyria flourished under his rule, becoming known not just for its strong walls or rich fields, but for the kindness, honesty, and courage of its king. Travelers who came to Zephyria often spoke of the king who could calm storms with his voice, who could unite warring villages with his words, who could soothe a crying child with a story, yet who would also roll up his sleeves and help rebuild a collapsed bridge or work beside farmers during harvest. But those who truly knew King Arin knew his greatest strength was not his silver tongue, but his golden heart, polished and strengthened by the truth he once dared to speak before the mirror of voices. And so, the silver-tongued prince became the golden-hearted king, leading Zephyria into an age of peace, hope, and honesty that would be remembered for generations. Moral of the story? True strength is found in speaking your truth and acting with courage. Words have power, but when they are aligned with a true heart and actions, they can transform a kingdom.